All right, so bro, the night it happened, tell me what happened when you got that call.
Okay, so yeah, I received the call at about, I'll say maybe 10 o'clock, a little bit after 10. I literally just had dropped my sons off at my oldest son's house. We had a whole day planned for ourselves, and I got a chance to actually say goodbye to my son, not knowing that, what was about to happen happened. So I go home, lay down, and my phone is blowing up. It's a Friday night, kind of typical for me because I'm a Chicago promoter. So I'm just thinking there's people calling me to see where I'm gonna be at that night. Lo and behold, I received a call from my oldest son's brother, and it was a FaceTime. So as I answered the call, he's hysterically crying, and he, just informed me that your son has been shot. So I'm like, how? I just dropped him off. Like, it was only like 20 minutes ago. So he just told me, you need to get over here, you need to get over here. So I'm like, where? Where is here? So they were at their aunt's house, and from my understanding, a drive-by shooting took place that had nothing to do with my son, and my son caught a stray bullet. Upon arriving to the scene, it was very chaotic because my son wasn't the only only kid that was actually struck by a bullet and also killed. There was another young man that was also killed as well on the scene. So I'm trying to get myself together. I'm not knowing if my son is alive or dead at this point. They wouldn't let me see him. The only thing that I can remember was a police officer coming up to me and asking me to calm down, and she also informed me that she knew me. So she just asked me to walk with her. And respectfully, I told them, I said, look, this is my son. I don't know if he's alive or what, but I'm trying to respect y'all crime scene, but y'all got to tell me something. In the midst of that, the ambulance is there, and I see out of my peripheral that a kid is on the stretcher and, being hauled off to the ambulance. So at that point, I asked the police officer, is that my son? She then stated, just go to Christ Hospital and be with your son. So at that point, I, called up his mom and everything and let her know what was going on, and we both met at Christ Hospital. So that's the night that everything happened, which was 9/24/21, and this happened on a Friday night.
Okay, what was your son's name?
My son's name is Josiah Kingston Jefferson.
Gotcha. How old was he?
He was 18 at the time of his death.
And what town was this in?
South Holland, Illinois.
Gotcha. Okay, so now, did the police tell you what happened? What happened after you guys got to Christ Hospital?
We waited for a good 2 hours. The police didn't never tell us anything where my son had been shot, even if he was still alive for that matter. We received little to no knowledge about my son's, as far as his injuries or anything like that. We waited and waited and waited. We continued to confront the front staff to see, what's going on, and they just kind of like brushed us off, but kind of also strung us along. And the reason for that being is at that point, obviously my son was on a ventilator, and my son was, he wasn't deceased just yet, but, once we did get up to the room, they escorted us to a small, quiet room, me and his mom, Shanetra Jefferson. And at that point, we sat there and we were just wondering. We still had no knowledge of what was going on with my son until the surgeon or doctor walked in. And the first thing that we both said was, where has our son been shot? The doctor didn't answer. He just proceeded to point to his head. And at that point, we pretty much blacked out.
Right. Okay. So now, did the police give you any details about what happened that day? Do they have any suspects? What's going on?
At this moment, no suspects are caught, or they have they have leads, but they don't have anything that's concrete. For the most part, the leads that they do have, they have to share information about, I assume, the person that's in interest with other police departments, because I guess these young kids have, did a lot of crime within the neighboring cities. So little to no information. Excuse me. The police also um, literally told me not to even get the news involved. Just due to my son's status, I wanted to at least shed some type of light on it because by me staying in South Holland and it didn't happen itself at my house at the time, I just wanted to let people know, like my son was an average kid, didn't really know nothing about the streets like that at all. So.
Right. Okay. So did anybody else tell you what happened or have any details? It was a drive-by shooting, and tell me about the other. Did somebody else get shot as well?
Yes. So when I arrived on the scene, again, it was chaos. I really didn't get a chance to talk to anybody because at the time the aunt was out shopping, and when she arrived home, it was all new to her as well. So really just kind of picked up the pieces of hearsay from street talk and all of this stuff because everybody who knew my son was a good kid. So they were just like, I can't believe that this happened to you. So yes, it was a drive-by shooting. I literally only know a little information and pertains to this case because even the police, they're not sharing too much with me. So just some other things that I did want to say, man. I brought my son's picture here with me today. This is his actual obituary, one of many pictures that I have of my son. And like I said, my son was a very bright kid who had a bright future in front of him. And it's so hard to actually deal with life at this point. A lot of people don't understand that because they see the outer appearance of me, and they think that everything is okay, the way I conduct myself, the way I may talk to me, the way I may walk, the way I work, everything. But it's not normal. I'm not okay. When you have a child that you've raised and that you've been there for 18 years and then within the blink of an eye, that's all gone, it's a lot of backlash from that mentally. Mentally, yeah, I'm not okay.
Would you say that most of our communities are suffering from PTSD?
Most definitely. Most definitely, and the reason why I say that is because I struggled from it before this even happened. But with me actually going back to school and actually getting an education and learning what PTSD is and taking like 3 psychology classes, it was easier for me to recognize it and not be naive to think that I don't suffer from it. So yeah, a lot of men, we don't get a chance to have that outlet for, you know what I'm saying, everything that we suppressing as far as the murder of our kids. I know a couple brothers that I went to school with that's lost their kids, and it's okay. It's okay, and I can honestly be the one to say that they lost it. Like they literally lost it, but they never got that help. They never had that foundation. They never had that support. I put myself in the place for me to get that support. Why? Because I knew that mentally I wasn't okay. My life in a shot, I can share this with you, brother. It was a moment that I had one day, and I'm not lying to you. I invited some friends over. This was probably like 3 weeks after my son had passed. I invited some friends over to my house, and we were just sitting there talking, and everybody's still trying to console me. It was probably like 3 or 4 of us in there. And one of the friends, they were couples. So it was a boy and a girl. I don't know what it was. I don't partake in smoking weed. Nothing against nobody that do that, but that's not my thing. I may have a sip every now and again, but I didn't even drink, right? And this is the anxiety buildup. I thought my friends was literally trying to rob me because I didn't know. I just lost somebody that was near and dear to me. I didn't know. So I literally planned this all in my head to escape from my house without them even knowing. And in the midst of me doing this, after I pulled my car out the garage, I rode around South Holland for about 20 minutes. Mind you, I've been living in South Holland for almost 3 years at this point. I literally felt lost. I didn't know where I was. My anxiety built up. I had to pull over on the side and just start asking myself safe questions. What's your name? What's your birthday? What's your social security number? So at that point, after I answered those questions to the best of my ability, I literally just started praying to God. I said, God, please don't let me lose my mind. Because I felt like I was right there. And again, mentally, if you're not strong enough, you will lose it. And that's hands down. And it's okay because you're dealing with something that's tragic. The loss of my son has changed my life in so many ways. In so many ways, I have literally relocated from Illinois to Indiana, and I'm looking to move even further just because I can't go any place in Illinois without something reminding me of my son. You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard. It's extremely hard. To the parents, I encourage y'all to seek refuge in God. I encourage y'all to seek refuge in counseling, and I also encourage y'all to seek refuge out of the norm of things that you used to doing in your daily life, because it's never going to be the same.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you coming out.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Yes, I definitely want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate My Life in the Chi. Man, I reached out and he was very timely with responding to my request. And even now, just being here, you know, a lot of times you'll get, you know, kind of pushed out the way if you don't have a certain status or whatever the case may be. But bro made sure, My Life in the Chi made sure that he gave me this platform to speak, and that's all I really wanted to do.
City on fire. Ooh, down to the wire. It's my life in the Chi. Ooh, it's my life in the Chi.